Students, let us start the chapter number 2 today. It is population dynamics. Students, first of all, we ought to know what actually population is. The word population signifies the total number of people inhabiting a specific area at a particular time. Population is not static. It is ever changing. And since population not static and it is ever changing, that's why it is said that it is dynamic. So population dynamics deals with the study of how and why populations change in size and structure over time. Students, at the same time, you must be knowing that China is the most populous nation of the world, and just after China, it is our country India, which is holding the second position. And it is also said that very soon India is going to overtake China in terms of population. Here it is a distribution of population in the world. You see, the global population has been shown by the graph here, bar graph. So you see that is the tallest column of that of Asia as 59.5%, and Africa just second with 16.8%. Third is Europe, 9.8%. Latin America and the Caribbean, 8.5%, and Northern America, 4.8%. And rest is Oceania with 0.5%. Is the distribution of the global population 2018. In 2015, the total world population was 7.35 billion people. Mainly due to the rapid growth of developing countries, the human population will continue to grow in the coming decades and is expected to exceed approximately 11.2 billion by 2100, or you can say 2100, according to a global population forecast by the United Nations. Students, if you think about global population, why actually it is so? So we'll come across that it is due to numerous causes, as like due to medical advances, better living conditions, and the increase of agricultural productivity. The world population expected to grow, and Asia is the most populous continent on earth. Next, let us move to the next point, that is factors affecting the size of population. There are several factors that affect the size of the population in the world. Namely, these are fertility rate or birth rate. Second is death rate or mortality rate. Third is immigration, IMMI-GRATION, immigration, and another is emigration, that is EMI-GRATION. So let us deal these points one by one. First of all, fertility rate, or which is also known as birth rate. The factor that affects the growth of population is in the biggest way is the fertility or the birth rate. The fertility rate is typically measured by the number of children per one woman of childbearing age. If the fertility rate is larger than 2, the population should rise as there are more children than their parents. On the other hand, if this ratio is below 2, the population of the region may be destined for a decline. Generally, birth rate refers to the number of live births per 1,000 persons in given geographical area per year. Next point is mortality or death rate. Death rate refers to the number of deaths per 1,000 people in a given geographical area per year. The factors that affect the mortality rate include the ability of quality health care and lifestyle habits. For example, whether they smoke or do physical exercise regularly. Immigration, IMMI, GRATION, and immigration, EMI, GRATION. Cross-border migration is the act of people moving from one country to another. It affects the population size of both the host and the destination countries. Immigration means to move out of a particular place. Immigration is caused by the number of factors such as war, education, seeking new jobs, or joining one's family. When a person immigrates from a country, its population shrinks. When someone moves to a country from another place, it is known as immigration. Whether or not a person is allowed to immigrate is controlled by the country that will host this person. Population change is the change in the number of people during a specific time. As we discussed, this change occurs due to births, deaths, and migration of people. The difference between the birth and the death rate of a country is called the natural growth rate of the country. Next important topic is density of population in the world. The total number of people in a country in relation to its land is known as population density. Or in another way, we can say that population density equal to total population of a country by total land area of the country. On the basis of population distribution, three main zones can be identified. These are, namely, the densely populated regions, the moderately populated regions, and the sparsely populated regions. So, students, let us deal these points one by one. First of all, the densely populated regions. The regions of the world that have a favorable climatic conditions for human habitation and opportunities for economic activities are the densely populated regions. The main regions can be identified as below. The countries of Central and Southeast Asia like China, Japan, India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, etc. The countries of Western and Central Europe, namely UK, France, Italy, Germany, Belgium, etc. These areas are highly industrialized and commercially advanced. They also have well developed agriculture. This has led to concentration of population in these areas. Students, you might be knowing that in India, 65 to 70% of the people are engaged in agriculture by till date, and India has been the agrarian base right from the time immemorial, and it is also what one of the most populous nations of the world. Now, the second is the sparsely populated regions. This zone has harsh climatic conditions with extreme of temperature. The topography is rugged and difficult for human habitation. Such regions are deserts like the Sahara and Kalahari of Africa, the Arabian Desert and the Thar Desert of Asia, Atacama and Patagonia Desert of South America, and so on. Cold polar regions of Arctic in North America, Eurasia and Antarctica are totally uninhabited. You can know very well. These are the extreme colder regions. No? The dense equatorial rainforest of the Amazon and Zar Basin. These are among the sparsely populated regions of the world. Further being said, population density is a measurement of the number of people in an area. It is an average number. The population density is usually shown as the number of people per square kilometer. Next factor is overpopulation. First of all, we ought to know what is overpopulation. So for it, we'll see refer to the meaning of overpopulation. The term overpopulation means too great a population for a given reason to support. It is the condition of having a population so dense as to cause environmental deterioration and impaired quality of life or a population crash. There are too many people and not enough resources to maintain a reasonable standard of living in that particular region. It is considered as an undesirable condition where the number of existing human population exceeds the carrying capacity of Earth. Overpopulated countries in the world, here the top 10 countries has been given: China, India, United States, Indonesia, Brazil, Pakistan, Nigeria, Bangladesh, Russia, and Japan. Students, you see nations like Pakistan, Bangladesh, no doubt they are smaller nations and comparatively too small as size that of India. But in terms of population, these two are the top 10 nations in terms of population. Overpopulated countries are not necessarily those with the highest population. China and India rank first and second respectively with respect to the total population of the world, but they are ranked lower in the index of overpopulation. Now students, let us have a glance of the causes of overpopulation. First is decline in the death rate. At the root of overpopulation is the difference between the overall birth rate and death rate in populations. If the number of children born each year equals the number of adults that die, then the population will stabilize. Second cause is better medical facilities. Technological advancement was perhaps the biggest reason why the balance has been permanently disturbed. Science was able to produce better means of producing food, which allowed families to feed more mouths. Medical science made many discoveries, thanks to which they were able to defeat a whole range of diseases. Illnesses that had claimed thousands of lives were cured because of invention of vaccines. Now, problems of overpopulation, rapid population growth, unemployment. Since what are these? These are the drawbacks, or we can say that demerits of overpopulation. Further, housing and health, impact of overpopulation. What are the impact, or you can consequences? You can say depletion of natural resources, environmental hazards, unemployment and poverty, health and sanitation, and imbalance in trade. So these are the, you can say, causes, consequences of overpopulation. Rest we shall start in the next video. So for it enough for now. We'll continue the next video.